Good afternoon. Today I just want to do what I probably should have done a long time ago. Someone told me that testimonies are only for people who are saved, people who believe in Jesus Christ, because you try to tell them to anybody else, and they'll probably just dismiss it as coincidence or whatever. Only the gospel really has the power to maybe save people, transform people, convince people. So what's the point in telling somebody about a personal experience? Well, here it is anyway. So there was a time when I used to do stand-up comedy. I thought it was the way to go. I believed, it could be a fulfilling career, and I saw no harm in it. As I progressed in the field of stand-up comedy, I started to learn how to get laughs. My goal became to get more laughs per minute. I would say anything I could to get the laugh. I would say funny words, provocative words, shock value words. It didn't matter. The goal was to get the laugh. All that came to an end when one night I was standing in the back of a comedy club underneath the light, and I noticed, I believe God opened my eyes and allowed me to see something. Standing in the back of the comedy club underneath the light, I remembered that God says hell is a dark place. And I thought it was interesting. I was like, oh look, comedy clubs are dark rooms. They usually have to be very dark for them to work. Thought that was interesting. I remember hell being described as a prison. And I was like, oh look, comedy club backdrops are usually brick walls, just like in a prison. And I thought it was funny that the comedian was standing in a dark room in front of a brick wall, justifying his bad immoral behavior, which is something prisoners do. Thought that was kind of funny. And then I remember people talking about their near-death experiences where they visited hell and how they see like a bright light kind of like slowly fading away. And I was like, oh look, there's a bright light shining on this comedian for a brief moment. Eventually it's going to go away. And at this point, the silhouettes of the audience reminded me of like demons, and their laughter started to sound like jackals and hyenas. And then the applause break sounded like bacon grease frying in a skillet. And I'm standing in the back of the comedy club underneath this light, thinking all this, and I kind of just like smirked and was being very cynical. I was like, what are you trying to tell me? Comedy clubs are the artistic representation of hell? Is that it? And at that exact moment, a comedian friend of mine who is burnt head to toe, missing an arm, walked up to me to shake my hand. What are the odds? At that exact moment, it's as if it's like everything else wasn't enough for me. I still needed another example. And at that exact moment, he walked up to me. I was terrified, and I never went back to the comedy club ever since. I kind of realized comedy clubs are perhaps the devil's church, right? Comedians are just evangelists for their own opinion. I think that's one moment in my life where God opened my eyes and allowed me to see. Seek the truth and you shall find the truth.